Welcome everybody, you're in the right place. We're about to kick off the Change Your Habits webinar at exactly 11 a.m. and I'm looking forward to it. I'll talk to you in a minute. Welcome everyone, you're in the right place. We're going to kick off in 1 minute time, right on 11 a.m. for the How to Change Your Habits webinar. I'll talk to you then. Hello everyone and welcome to How to Change Any Habit in 30 Days. I'm Pete Tansley and I'm going to be hosting the webinar today on basically how to create new habits and new lifestyles to stick in your life. If you haven't already, I'd love to connect with you and thank you for joining me on this webinar. I'd love for you to connect with me on either Facebook or Instagram. I post lots of tips up there and links to recipes and new events such as future webinars. So please do, if you haven't already, take the next 20 seconds just to click on these links or to enter these links in to connect with me so we can chat on these two great sites. So let's talk about why we want to focus on habits and why it's important. Often I see in my line of work as a trainer, see people who focus a lot on the outcome goal. Let's say losing 10 kilograms or 20 pounds for the Americans possibly watching, but that's a great outcome goal, to lose an amount of weight. But I want to touch on a story about why we need to focus on habits, okay? So there has never been an age really in which you could get so much done so fast. There also has never been an age in which we're so overwhelmed with information and things to do and so overloaded with emails and things to read and watch and, so stressed just by the incredible demands in our lives. And for most people, I know a lot that I talk to, work is just a constant stream of emails, of news, of meeting requests, of phone calls and messages, of papers and notes and files and more meetings. The day starts with emails, a full inbox, and ends with an inbox just as full. And each email is a request for your time, for your attention, for stuff, for time that you don't really have to give out. So I've heard one person quoted as, "We're drinking from a fire hose of information with no idea on how to reduce the flow." So that's pretty stressful, okay? And it's even quite wasteful. If we stop to think about it, it's how we want to spend our lives. Sorry, it's not how we want to spend our lives if we think about it. So I think the key is finding some calm in the chaos. So what's the alternative to this overload, Is it the extreme of building a house in the woods and shutting ourselves off from society and modern technology? It's probably not quite that extreme. But I think a middle ground is needed. One where we can still have lots of information at our fingertips and still get lots done, have lots of instant communication when we want it, and still get things done quickly. But somewhere where we can choose how much we consume, okay? Almost a simpler life, but one where we actually achieve and accomplish more things at a faster rate, okay? So I think the solution lies in setting limits to how much we consume and do, okay? And also by having laser sharp focus on the things that are important, which are probably a few things at most that are really, truly important on any given day or week or month, instead of everything at once, okay? So picture a life where you have a fairly peaceful day, stress is minimal, where you're able to focus on your work and actually move forward in the areas you want to move forward in, okay? So imagine a day where you only do a few tasks, but those tasks are super important. And once they're done, they move you, they propel you 10 times further forward, okay? It might sound idyllic, but I think it's definitely achievable, okay? And we're going to share some of those tips today. It really comes down to making choices. And one of those is about simplicity. I'm a really big believer in simplicity. After going the extremely opposite end, I think being the less is more. The more simple, the better. My life, I know, is much more simple when I simplify it. It's better when I simplify it. So many times I've tried to focus on doing 20 things at once. As a business owner, I've tried to grow the business. I've tried to take on new team members. I've tried to introduce new programs. In my personal life, I've tried to introduce 5 new health habits every week, new supplements, new regimes, 2-hour workouts, sleeping this amount, drinking this potion. In my personal life, I've taken another dozen things which I've tried to achieve, and already I've probably rattled off close to 30 things that I've tried to change overnight at once. And the common story here is New Year's Eve, okay? January 1, everybody wants to revolutionize their life. They want to double their income or triple their income. They want to halve their body weight. They want to spend more quality time with their significant other or their creator or their animals or nature. They want to do all these things at once. And the first 2 weeks are fantastic. They're running, they've stopped smoking, they're not drinking, they're catching up, they're prioritizing, they're sleeping, they're planning their days. But what happens come February 1? Or worse, July 1? I'll share some stats with you later, but I know with myself when I've tried to change too much, I've stuck at none of those things. Okay, none of those new habits have actually stuck around. So the goal today is to share how to change your life, yes, in multiple different areas, but how we're going to take a step back so then you can take 10 steps forward, okay? Simplicity is the key here. Your life is better when you cut down on noise, when you cut down on things to do, and enjoy the things you love. Your work will be better when you cut out the distractions, when you stop doing so many things and start focusing instead on the critical few which project you forward. If you work with somebody else, if it's not your business, you might be pigeonholed here a little bit, but perhaps you can share some tips with your boss on simplifying, okay? Simplicity can mean many things. For some, it means going back to the basics. For others, it makes delegation more of a priority. For others, it just means having a crystal clear focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. But the key is in simplicity to do less, not more, but to achieve more because of those choices, okay? So simplicity boils down to 2 things. Identify what's critical in whatever thing you're trying to change, and then to eliminate the rest. It'll make you happier, less stressed, and the reason you're here, it will move you forward in any area of your life. So let's get started. Simple is best. No matter what skill or habit you're trying to change, the more simple, the better. So this is an immensely important idea. By focusing on less, it helps you to achieve more. Now, the concept is not new, nor did I invent this concept at all, okay? Many of the world's top change experts, coaches, have used this method to facilitate more change in their own lives and perhaps those that they haven't. I've heard a few TED Talks on this and some great books on the same concept. So I'm definitely not claiming I invented all about He's gone through some pretty remarkable changes. Quit smoking. He's lost 40 pounds or 20 kilos just in 2 years, remember. He was a non-runner. He was very he tripled his income. He wrote a novel and a non-fiction book, and he wasn't a writer before that. He eliminated his consumer. Kids, I have to like to use, you know, children at home. He's the most challenging job in the world because there's so many things to look after. I'm not an expert. That's it, taking action to this stuff. How do I encourage you to make anything? Is by doing less. Think again of your January 1 who says it must be a year, but by July 1 of them have intent is flawed. By focusing on one habit at a time, you're creating that one habit. So one of the guidelines to creating lifelong change or a lifelong habit in 30 days is to select one habit. That's only one habit at a time. You can choose any habit. I suggest you choose whatever will have the biggest impact of your life. So let's say your goal, to use our example, is 10 kilograms. Not anything consistently. The habit will need to add in consistent exercise, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, preparing your meals in advance, and choosing 80% whole foods, for example, could be one of your rules. So there's many habits that make up all of those things, right? Even just packing a gym bag is a habit in itself to get to the gym tomorrow, or setting the alarm for 5 a.m. to get to habit. So just are associated with that goal. Let's say the most important one is get out. Each day, and when you do it, what is a post your goal publicly. This is one of the rules. So your goal of getting up that you're trying to form your new habit. Okay, 30 every single day, and to have a breakfast in that additional hour of getting up. By posting on popular, there's so many. In fact, there's even ones that have researched this. You might be on a weight loss program. This you have private groups where our clients do this, be posting their word out to a large group on Facebook. So you might have to pay for some of these, but it is integral part of the program. Also easy to do daily. Even if your goal is to work out daily, let's say your goal is to work. So if you're not lifting weights or working hard in a class, it may take progress. Let's say it's something you have to do. What habits are associated with that you can report? Isn't it a champion that group? You have to tell people whether or not you succeeded at your goal. If you need those rules, it will be really hard not to have formed a habit of 30 days. So number one, Leo with his list of things that he did into one habit per to each their own. Running was the next one. Focused on one at a time. Of course, after 30 days, it's a habit, so it's going to keep going. Later, a new habit on top of that. Number one is getting up at 5:30. After 30 days, that will be a habit if you do it daily. Number two, it might be to eat a protein-rich breakfast. Number two. Month number three, it might guess what? You're only halfway through by habit at a time. By focusing on one and by focusing on many. In my experience, there's a 100% failure rate for multiple habits at once. So stick to this rule. You high achievers out there, you guys, trust the process one at a time. Choose a goal. Later, when we're good at habit change, you can choose something harder. But for now, let's say that goal is to get up earlier. If you 7 a.m., 30 minutes earlier. That's enough time. I'm guessing you have a shower already. That's enough time to wake up, have a glass of water, get a 5-minute warm up, and then get a 20 or 25-minute workout in your living room. Two reasons for this. One, have it stick. But two, I want to turn in attempting to floss his teeth. A few times a year, every year, the same way for 7 days, 8 days, floss morning and night. It's fresh. Fine tonight. He gets to tonight. He thinks, "Oh, I've got to get to bed before midnight." He chooses his goal. Once a day, I will floss one tooth. Here's a psychologist. The choice versus every tooth is so much easier. Everybody can floss one tooth. It takes what, 20 seconds, a minute maximum. The rest of it off. So choosing an easy goal helps you stick to the habit. Also, subconsciously, it's easy to start. One tooth or the tooth. So for now, you can do every 10 minutes of walking. Start small. Choose something measurable. Whether you're successful today or not, a simple yes or no. Did I take my fish oil today? It needs to be a clear, definite answer. If you choose exercise, you can choose be consistent. This is possible. You want to do at the same time. At consistent time. So, where possible, make it do it at 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. every day. It becomes checking in every 2 or 3 days. This has been proven so many challenges I've run. How their progress, get way better results. And the high achievers, you can't just post when it's a yes, you also have to post when it's a no. You have to be 100% honest and report back daily. Accountability works. We're sometimes happy to let ourselves down by not doing exercise, but when it comes to we're way less likely. Keep a positive attitude. Expect setbacks now and then, but note them and move on. Expect days where you don't do a habit. But if you maintain 7 out of 10, the clarity of one goal is the winning formula. I always say, okay, everybody listen. Every couple of problems is a crisis. Okay, so never expect smooth sailing. The only people without problems or crises are those in the graveyard. Okay, so expect embarrassment in this challenge. If it's 2, 3, or 10 consecutive days of no's, it doesn't matter. Remember to focus most importantly on one single habit at a time. I've witnessed people go from 40 to habit and focusing overnight. They change 1 month, one habit, and it works. So research has shown that when people try that's pretty high. Success for less than 5%. Plumbers are less than 5%. Success rate on 2 goals. Success rate on 3 behaviors. I've been working this works for all types of people. Their lifestyle, but the changes simply don't stick. Of course it isn't when you look at those stats. But let's be honest, most of us aren't known for being patient. We want results yesterday. We want them. I want to be in shape yesterday. Okay, I want to as soon as possible. But you have a goal setting works. It is permanent. So right now, you're going to stop. You're going to pull it. You're going to turn off your phone. One drink habit to change. Wake up at 5:30 a.m. Move for 20 minutes a day. Stretch for 5 minutes a day. Whatever. It could even be as simple as cutting out one every day. That's the whole bricky. But don't pretend to do this or say you're going to do it later. It's the next 12, 10, 12 months, 30 years, you're making a habit. So go You go number one is measurable. Is this habit measurable? Yes or no? Is it easy? If you're currently doing no exercise and your goal is to work out for 2 hours a day, that's not easy. Start with 20 minutes. We'll get to 2 hours if that's what you want. Start small. Week. You post it to group. There's so many online now, guys. There's no excuses not to post this publicly, and you need to report daily back on and have a PM, a positive attitude. The only place where problems don't exist in the group. Remember, not be derailed by problem processes that will happen next. The formula, keep it simple with those steps. You can apply this to any single habit that you like. Choose one at a time, reflect on it daily, and in a month, you can reset for a brand new habit. And the question, somebody else is thinking the same thing. Like, so now I'm going to unmute you all and